baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Blue Monday live stream. You know that movie, Room with a View? I'm a man with a cold, so there's not going to be too much singing today, but talking, that's going to go okay. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing fine, and today we have a good topic that is a question that I'm getting almost every time I do workshops, and I get so many questions. I could do like 10 live streams just about questions I'm getting from people, from students who are in different stages of their music career or musical journey. So today we're going to be talking about how do I know that I'm moving fast enough, and how can I make sure that I'm developing the right way? Because people are subjective. People don't hear themselves with other people's ears. It's very often that people say, oh, I just recorded myself, that sounds awful, but when I play it, it's cool, it's great. So that's one aspect of it. The other is that sometimes people are eager to play a song and there's a certain lick or chord change or arrangement thing that they need to master, and somehow they kind of do it sometimes quite sloppy, and it doesn't really work in the long run. And when it's time to maybe perform that song, and it doesn't matter if we're on a professional level or we're just playing for my dog or a cat or somebody, or on a private party, a birthday party, whatever, that performance needs to be smooth and nice. So my live stream is about how to improve with small steps, no matter what level you are. Of course, I'm not talking this to pros. They know their stuff, and they don't need me. And I don't need them on this live stream anyway. It's for us muggles. So thanks for coming anyway. And let's go with a welcome song for today. It's gonna be something that I think I've sang every time for these like 34 live streams before this one. So this is gonna be an instrumental, my own little instrumental called "Love Is Dream." So, give me a second. So. Patrick. Thank you. That was recorded for their CD called Leaving. That's not available online. So we're working on it. But my record company is in Serbia and they are not connected, so it's something on their end anyway. This was in open D, Geir, but it was tuned down to B, Ho, on the first string. So basically it's this on the baritone, right? As if we played in B, Ho, right? So that's the tuning, and I wrote this song on a regular tuned guitar, like on my, I think I even recorded it on my metal body, Continental, but that baritone, it's got that sound, call it that sound, and it just marries itself wonderfully with that song. I think it sounds great. All right, let's do the blues back up. Slow blues in E. We'll start with that one. 2, 3, 4. do let me know if there's something with video or audio that's different from before, because I have done some changes, as I usually do. I have to tinker with that. But the most important thing is about the audio and video synchronization. So if these beats are okay, or is there a delay, or let's say the delay should be on the video side when I'm picking. So you hear the sound first, and then you see my finger just a little bit delayed moving there. Now that was cool. I must steal that just to see how it sounds. Thank you, Patrick. That's great. Eunice, it's never too late. There is always a replay. That's great. Great. Well, my voice is more present because I've taken a better microphone, or one of the best microphones that I have, and put it right here on top of the frame. So, and it's quite close to me. So I'm always trying to improve this. That's because I know afterwards when you listen to it, some people are listening with headphones on, and some people are just going to listen to it on their mobile phones. And I really want this audio to be good on any occasion or in any setup people who might be listening to it. So thank you for that input. That's great. I'm all in sync. It's just that my just a second. Right, the second song for the backup is going to be in open G, but you can play it in G as well. Doesn't matter. That's also one of the kind of wishes that people are always giving me and asking about. Is that, oh, I want to learn how to play Alberta, or Corina, because these songs are kind of timeless and they're great. So I'm going to give you the backup of Corina in open G, and I might play the melody once just to make sure that maybe if somebody's coming back to this and listening again, they might want to learn the melody on a slow-mo on YouTube. Oh, let me see. You went out of tune, baby. Oh, you too. Right. So, Corina is going to be in this rhythm. 1, 2, 3, Corina. mix of kind of everything, but I just play the melody twice, and let's see how that went. So the melody is on, I'm working a lot around these chords, and that's the D7 with that big bass, which is a bit out of tune, but okay. I combine that with a G form of this. So from the G regular chord, but not bare chord, just like this. And then I just kind of top this one with the G on the first string. There are people who can play this like this with a slide, fast. I don't know. But anyway, so the melody goes. So the melody's there. But I combine that with finger picking, which is basically not so complicated, but that part. And then I combine. And now here I'm on the D chord on the 7th fret, and then I go to G again. And this, that's a C through G or G through C. And then this is quite difficult for me to play without some string buzzing or fret buzzing, because it's a tricky one. I'm playing both the first string and the second. So I'm fretting on the 3rd fret and playing slide on the 4th fret. So together. So I'm cheating freely, like cheating because sometimes you just can't grab the chord at the same time while you're playing this. And if I would maybe try to do it, I found it to be kind of too much of like pressing an arrangement into something that I would miss the feeling on the melody if I would have to grab a chord somewhere. So somewhere in between, I just let it ring and maybe mute the bass string until I'm done with the melody, and then I incorporate it again. So I like those kind of arrangements. Or maybe I'm just plain lazy to do it the right way or the proper way. Which leads me to the theme of today. When is it enough? What's enough to practice? What's good enough? When can I move further? What's my level? Kind of okay. If I work like 3 hours a day, trust me, I get those questions. If I work like 3 hours a day, you think I'd be able to master this like Walking Blues by Muddy Waters? And it's an impossible answer to give, but at the same time, it's intriguing because sometimes I see people who are coming to the workshops and I see exactly, whoa, this person could actually play this quite fast if he or she or them would only think a bit more about this or that. So this live stream today is about this and that, this or that. It's a tricky one, right? Should I play? Oh, okay. I'll take my just my guitar, standard tuning, no slide in this little module, and let's see. Whoa. This is cool. I think I finally met my overman or my Superman buddy when it comes to audio nerdery. Sometimes it's just too much happening. But anyway, so here we go. Let me show you. To mention a workshop that I'll be having on November 4th to 6th, this coming November, in less than 2 weeks. I'll be in the UK, in Wolverhampton, which is close to Birmingham. So I'm going to fly over there with the Blues Association, European Blues Association, that has these acoustic blues weekends every fall and every spring. And then in the summer, they have the Blues Week program at the Hartbury College, somewhere in the middle of England. But if you just go to euroblues.co.uk and you'll find all the information. But anyway, that's where I'm going to be teaching Kansas City Blues by Kansas City Jim Jackson. And basically, I'm not going to go into that song and teach exactly how Kansas City Jim Jackson played it. I'm going to play my own kind of version of the song based on the original, of course, but I have my kind of chord shapes and changes that I've kind of learned over the years, and that's one of my absolute favorite songs, because there's a swing, there's a great tempo, it's a great story, and you can really do a lot with those rich bass in the chord of E. That's where we are. So the Kansas City Blues, if I would go into licks that are kind of a little bit difficult to master, are these, the intro lick, let's say. Or let's start from this. This is the backup for the melody while we're singing like it. Walking down Main Street, going down View, looking for the one they call Lucy. She done moved to Kansas City. So the backup, the basic stuff, can be just played with a thumb, with a bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. This is something that, I mean, every accomplished chord guitar player, somebody who learned how to strum, who knows where the basses are, maybe with their flat pick, but not with fingerstyle. So the first tip for those would be to start with, to kind of recognize where their thumb is. So just try to touch the 6th, 5th, 4th, 6th, 5th, 4th. And then when you kind of know that, and of course, you're more than welcome to watch yourself playing that. So if we go like this, okay, those strings are there, and then you would try to change the order of strings, like 6th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 6th, 4th, 5th, 4th. This is tactile. If you start to play it, maybe you'll miss it, or you're not going to be sure if it's well enough or whatever. This is my first recommendation if somebody's totally new to finger picking. Just try to feel where your fingers are, because that's the most important thing when you play fingerstyle. You need to know exactly which string you're going to be picking and why, and which strings you're not going to be picking, and which strings are going to be dampened or maybe just left out of different chord shapes or licks. So coming to Kansas City Blues, this will be the second step. Without dampening on the left side on my fretting hand whatsoever. This is just picking hand. 6th chord, 5th chord, and the chord is 4th string and downwards, which can be all 4 strings, but it can also be just the 4th and the 3rd string like this. So this is a very important step that many people are kind of missing, or maybe they're just not thinking about it. And later on they play quite linear, and you always get this. Which is kind of, I'm shooting myself in the foot, because if you play this in A, this is kind of Johnny Cash's favorite backup. But the thing is, Johnny Cash had a backup guitar players. And he had Carl Perkins that would do. In Folsom Prison Blues. If you play it in E, if I would try to emulate that. But basically, when it comes to finger picking, this is a very important part that you really need to master, where your thumb is kind of brushing to. Is it gonna do all 6 strings or what? So if I would play Kansas City Blues without any of the treble strings, maybe in the first verse, walking down Main Street, going down Bill, good on the woman, they call Lucy, she done moved to Kansas City, moved to Kansas City, she done moved, honey, where they won't lie you. So I did 2 things here. I played with my thumb. In between vocal lines, I kind of let it go all the way down. I didn't play anything with my fingers on treble strings, but I did kind of dampen with my fretting hand here, like this. So each time I pick downwards with my thumb, I would dampen here with my left hand. So this is this. Another cheating moment, or the dynamic thing, is that I can sometimes dampen the first bass with my thumb here, also on the fretting hand, which means I will get this. Dampened, short, like staccato notes on the bass, which are independent from the chord shapes I might be playing with my thumb. So already there, you have 3 things. You have picking the right strings. Oh, 4 things. I'm also dampening here with the wrist of my picking hand. So it's there. And I'm dampening only the first bass strings, first 3, like, and then those first 3 strings are not, top 3 strings are not dampened. So already there you have the first kind of level of dynamics. So if I would play without dampening with my left hand, let's see how that sounds. But dampening here, so. Sounds nice, and it's much more lively than this. Which is not dampened anywhere. That's the basics. So I believe that on every stage of your musical journey, you are able to think about 2 or 3 different things while you're playing, if you're just concentrated enough. And that's going to give you a good estimate of, okay, so if I master 1, 2, 3, 4 and play them all together, but very slowly, I might advance with a maybe faster pace than if I would only learn each one of these things and just kind of try to master that kind of piece by piece, like only dampening the strings, like only then dampening with the fretting hand, and then all together, and then incorporating treble strings and all that. So I think it's possible on every stage. Even a total beginner can be aware of the things that are important and then just work slowly enough that you can accomplish everything at the same time. I believe that. I mean, I haven't met anybody on these workshops who couldn't really do it when we set like one-on-one. And I said, okay, don't rush it now. Don't try to play anything fancy. Just think of this first. Body posture. Are you sitting comfortable? Where is the guitar? Do you need to lean over to see what you're doing, or are you sitting comfortably? A lot of people are sitting at home in their sofa, leaned backwards like this, and they see everything they're doing, but as soon as they need to perform or play with somebody else and maybe stand up, whoa, it's a totally different thing. And then you don't really see what you're doing because you're used to do that when you're sitting at home. So many of these small parts need to kind of come together, and then you'll be able to think about several parts. So the first thing is recognizing the bass strings that we're playing in E chord, and then it needs to be dampened on the picking hand. Then you need to dampen after each downstroke with your thumb. You need to think that this would be the. It's like whoa, tuk, tuk, dum, tuk, dum, tuk. It's almost like a following kind of rhythmical pattern that comes every time you play the downstroke with the bass, and then you dampen it here. The more advanced part of this would be if you let the basses ring a little bit more, but still you're dampening here. This is not really very musical, but this can be a part of a lick when you maybe you're gonna just let some of the basses ring longer than the rest of the strings, and then the rhythm is still going. I go walking down Main Street, going down Beale. So now I'm not dampening with my thumb here. I'm kind of cutting the notes short with my right hand. So I kind of let it ring. So that's another weapon that you might try to master and practice on, that you can dampen in different ways. And that dynamics can be dependent on where you are in the song, or let's say I have this lick where I play, I'm trying to kind of imitating the piano in this little lick. So how long I'm kind of keeping the notes fretted in different chord shapes is also a part of the dynamics. So being aware of that can give you some really nice dynamic solutions. So in Kansas City Blues, maybe. Compared to maybe so I can let some of the notes ring because I need them for that particular maybe lick or that chord shape or something, and then I had a so that would be about, let's say, Kansas City Blues, about songs that are in this manner of playing fingerpicking, and this is a very kind of slow song. I maybe I'd play it just a tad faster when I play live, and then depending on maybe the audience's reaction or whatever's happening there while I'm playing, maybe I'll do some different stuff. Maybe I'll put it a bit more bluesy or whatever. But the basic thing that I will never leave in this song is this. Even if I'm playing I just lied to you. I did leave the but that's very natural if you go up on the neck and play some different patterns and maybe note changes or whatever. But then I would always follow whatever I'm playing here with something on the basses as well. Because if I just kind of go this. Yeah, sometimes you could just leave it and you don't always have to follow it with the basses, but I like this. Because it's syncopation. It's a dynamic solution for something that I'm playing here, and then when you go back to the kind of safe zone, which is and so on and so on. So how to I always say that this is one of the best ways to learn a lick is to loop it within a rhythm that's resemblant of the songs you're trying to learn, and then just take a little piece of that lick and just practice that. Because if you want to do this, which is, let's say, my way of playing back up in Kansas City Blues, so I would just do this. Sorry. So I would kind of try to concentrate, okay, what are the moving parts here? So the basses are... So where is the melody coming compared to these basses? So it's kind of 1/2 a beat as I kind of count it. Okay, so I try to connect the notes that I'm playing with the basses. Either I'm on the bass at the same time, or I'm in between notes on the bass. And usually I kind of visualize where my fingers are going to be and which bass I need with which kind of fingering on the neck. It's like a... So even if I didn't grab this chord, which is A7, right, if I just think... So those notes need to be... So I would think, like, okay, when I'm on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, that's when I'm going to hit the bass, the big bass. So... and then we need this downstroke here. So everything together will be like a... And yes, this slow, even slower, but not slower than that, because sometimes the whole lick and the whole melody loses the meaning if you play it too slow just in order to kind of break it down into whatever you need to play. Then you just lost, you kind of lose the musicality of that. So my advice is to kind of go to the level where you really know how to play this lick, but you're not really sure, but then slow it down to maybe 30% more out of that. Let's say if I can play this solo, this lick like this, but I'm not really sure what my thumb is doing or whatever else, I would just go to big bass, 5th, big bass, and then I would just play myself sweaty into that. That's how I would go with that. And then the next lick would be... So this is the syncopated note before, then the big bass. So the first string is following right after the bass, and then I need to play the bass string here, the fourth string, and then at the same time need to fret on the second fret, second string. So then what? So the bass needs to do this all the time. See, I made a mistake. And I made the mistake because this is new for me. I usually play the basses like this: 6th, 4th, 5th, 4th. Because I play this same lick but slowly, but with this kind of rhythmical pattern, it's going to sound like this. You see, that goes flawlessly because I've played like this for many, many years. So I'm also putting myself into a kind of new situation. So if I would try to practice this and play it with only the 6th and 4th string, then I really need to think. So let's slow it down. You see? That's too fast, so let's slow it down. So if this doesn't go together, I would just concentrate on the first part, like a. And do that 10, 15, 20, 30 times. And then I will go to the next one after, which goes like. So it's this. I'm able to think because I see, okay, so it's together, the second string open and the big bass, and then I fret on the second fret and then play the 4th and that string together. So it's much easier to kind of comprehend what's going on. So and I will repeat this many times and I go back to the first. So let's do it together. So there was only one bass note that I was like a little hanging on it. Kind of, did I do it right or not? And that is something that I find very challenging because every once in a while I would maybe just go out there and try to do something that I've played many times. I try to do it differently. So the first lick, I just struck with this one. This can be a great lick by its own. There we go. Thank you, Livestream. Thank you, Blue Monday. I just, got me a little idea that I'm going to be working on because this is kind of a ragtimey lick that sounds really good. So I can show it to you in a very slow manner because it's just the first part of this Kansas City Blues backup. But it's not Kansas City Blues anymore. It's this. or whatever combination comes out from there. Yeah, so we're there. Is there a ETA? You know what's ETA when we're looking at Google Maps or maps on iPhones? It's kind of estimated time of arrival. So if I kind of practice this, when would I believe that this could be ready for the, let's say, performance level? Or if it's a part of a song and it's just a part of something that I'm playing during the singing part, but then I need to come up with a solo. When am I satisfied with this? When should I move to the next part? Well, the answer is if you go to each of the parts and play them separately, and as soon as you know all the parts, then I will try to incorporate them all together and then just play a bit slowlier. This might seem like a common sense. Of course, I'm going to have to, do it that way and not kind of be sloppy and not practice and just expect to be able to play a song from the beginning to the end. No, but sometimes people are not objective enough. They think something sounds really good, and then when they come to this kind of stressy situation where it's not only you and your guitar and you're relaxed, you're sitting at home, maybe you're going to play with somebody else, just a simple jam session can be very intimidating. It can be very stressful because all of a sudden you're hearing somebody else playing, and that's kind of you need to hear that as well at the same time as you're playing your own stuff. So already that is another challenge on top of what you need to accomplish with your licks that you've been practicing so long with. And sometimes people concentrate on the guitar part so much that they forget about the singing. Because if they want to sing it as well, that's another level of concentration they need to put on top of the playing. So if I would, let's say, play the Kansas City Blues with the singing line, walking down Main Street, going down to you, looking for the woman they call Lucy. Should have moved to Kansas City. Should have moved to Kansas City. Should have moved, honey, where they won't I can play this in my dream, not because I've been practicing so much, but because I've played this song live in many very demanding situations when people might maybe even not be listening to me, or it's a kind of crowded club, maybe it's a noisy club, maybe the sound is not, audio is not that good on that particular gig, maybe I'm getting feedback from something. You learn through these kind of tricky situations how to master the groove itself, so you never lose the groove. But that's something that not everybody can do, and not everybody is eager to perform. Not everybody's having a career of a performing musician, which doesn't say that anybody couldn't play on a professional level, which for me means only that you're aware of what you're playing, that you play dynamically, and that you don't kind of interfere with your own singing or somebody else's singing in the song. And that can be done on every stage of musical and maybe guitar technical knowledge. I've seen pros out there playing on top of everything else and just playing for themselves and not sharing too much of the music with people around. And I've also seen people who are kind of, I don't like that expression, but it's like bedroom players, but people who don't perform, just play at home and maybe for their friends or family. But I've seen some people who are just amazing. They have the groove, they have the dynamics, they play wonderfully. So I don't like to divide people in levels of playing. I like just to divide them into stages of where we are on our musical journey. So I always give this piece of advice is like go to the root of whatever you're playing and analyze where your fingers are, and if you're aware of what you're doing with your right hand. that's why it's really good to be able to play some melodies. So in the Kansas City Blues, I've got this kind of idea for the solo that sounds like this. So I'm actually doing a part of the turnaround in blues, which is, but I'm going like a, so that's my melody, and then I try to incorporate the basses into that. So this sounds so smooth because I've played it for many, many years, but at the same time, I'm death aware of what my right picking hand is doing and how I'm going to dampen with my left hand. And this is not so complicated. If you really break it down to kind of moving parts, this is not so complex as some fingerstyle arrangements when you have, you know, people playing all around the neck and having really complex chord changes and stuff. It's like, no, I'm not that kind of a player. I was never interested in that. But I like grooves. I like to be able to emphasize the melody, and I like to kind of do these arrangements of old songs the way I like them, and that's it basically. But if I would practice on this solo, I would first go into this, what's happening on the treble string. So it's a, right? So this can also be, let's say, a little exercise. And then I would go, and so on and so on. So this lick came to me as like a do 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 do. Maybe I've heard that in some of the old songs or whatever, but I found this nice, this, excuse me for, sorry. So this lick, this happens on the 9th fret, then 7th on the 1st string, and then I go on the 2nd string, 8th and 9th fret as a kind of gliding to the 9th fret, but then, and then I play open 1st string again. So, oops. This would be like the speed of practicing maybe, but that's, I'm also using this in blues shuffles. I think I've showed you this before when I was playing this. I think it was That's Alright by Jimmy Rogers, the way I play that fast shuffle. So this is a very kind of grateful lick because you can really play it in all different kinds of grooves and rhythms and all that. So, but in Kansas City Blues, it comes as a great little lick that will lead me into playing the 4th chord, the A7, right? So you got a, so what's nice about this is that I stop playing the basses here. I just play that lick. So when I start playing the basses again, then the groove is back and everything is kind of not very predictable because, okay, you got this bass going all the time. is where I come into the groove with the rhythm. But before that, I was just emphasizing the first 2, 3, 4, just the fourth notes. Bass, bass, and then go back to it. Right. So one of these tricky parts that I would maybe practice on would be like a just so that I'm aware what's the next note after I play this first string. You see, I play the first and then the second string open, and during that time I have plenty of time to go back to this first fret because it's going to be so. Let's make this a little trick or exercise. And I would practice this until it really sits tight and I know how to do it. All right, let's see where we are. I have seen my good buddy Michal visiting the live stream. Hi, nice to see you again. All right, trying to play something slowly and consciously that you've played for a year unconsciously is a great skill for a teacher to have. Yeah, well, thank you. It's I'm not sure I would call myself a teacher. So it's just like maybe I'm a bit further on my musical journey than some other people, and then I can show off some licks or maybe give some good tips. Because if being a teacher is having a good eye and ear for somebody else's playing and to see where maybe they're stuck for the moment but are not aware of that, then I'm a teacher. Then I'm good at that, really. Because while in a real life, let's say if you're at work and you guys are doing things different ways, and you're in a project, you see somebody doing things, I mean, not good enough or maybe inefficiently or something like that. If you go to that person and say, "Hey, I've seen you doing this way. That's not good. You should be doing it like this." No, that's not going to work. But in music, thank God, people are much more, eager to listen. And since I'm usually ending up in these very forgiving and very inspiring situations on various workshops that I'm coming to, then it's a very good thing if you come to somebody and say, "Look, I've seen you playing this and like that. Have you maybe thought of doing it like this or like that?" And then we kind of sit together for like 15-20 minutes, and all of a sudden you see that, "Oh, that's right," that moment, right? And sometimes I get those moments like, "Oh, that's right," when I kind of break down some of my licks that I'm not aware of that I'm playing in a certain way, but then all of a sudden I can, "Oh, that's right, but if I just change this little thing, then I might be able to do it this way," and then a new lick just creates a new lick, and that's, I'm gaining just as much of those workshops as all the students who come there. Let's say this. I've used this lick. This can be used in shuffles or whatever, but it's a. What we're doing here is actually we're playing the E7 ninth chord, which would be the same chord as E7 9 here. So it's 2nd fret of the 1st string, 3rd fret, which is the 7th on the 2nd string, and this 1st string on the 2nd fret, that's the 9th of E chord, and then you play the third and the main note. But in this other shape up here, it's the same notes, but they are played in different octaves, and all of a sudden it sounds a little bit different. And in certain situations, this could be your preferred chord. I'm sure you're familiar with this. You've heard this in blues, right? Okay. And so on. But then you have this. That's a nice lick. And then instead of playing, which is the major chord, which is E chord up here, of course, if I play just major chord here, this is a very majory melody or lick, which can be really nice in some situations, maybe even in a Kansas City blues. No, not really. But when you play like this, you're actually playing the E minor, you see? But if you play this, you have come to this kind of 7/9 chord of E, and then you just continue with it. So if I would have this idea just struck me now, and I say, okay, if I would try to incorporate this into Kansas City Blues, then I would need to practice this low. Let's see. It's a bit choppy, it's a bit kind of too forced, but if I would need to practice this, then I would just go very slow, like a. So the first important part is and maybe you hear this in the background, this little open second string in between, which is great because if I only play first and the third string in this lick, that's one thing. But if I let the second string ring, for me it's kind of more music, it's more kind of ringing, everything is more dynamic and all that. But the thing is that I need to be aware of how am I picking these two strings, because I'm not picking the second string actively. I do make it sound together with this because I just make sure that these two fingers on the fretting hand are not touching the second string, because if they are, then we'd be like this. Or, but if I let it ring, and here, if I just play them by just like this, it's a bit dissonant. Like, but if you do it in the lick, then it's nice. So many of these things kind of happen by accident, but then I usually go back to many of those licks and just say, okay, I'm playing this here, okay. Just got myself a maybe new lick within the Kansas City Blues pattern, just by experimenting by, okay, which fingers are going where, and what am I doing with my picking hand, and where are my basses, and so on and so on and so on. Hello Jimmy, Novi Sad, Serbia, nice to see you. And I just realized that I've passed the hour with a quarter, so I need to let you go, guys. Thanks so much for coming, and as usual I'll need to put a timer on here when it comes to the theme of the Blue Monday live streams, because I kind of keep forgetting where I am, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's try time. And then I realized I don't have the time for neither a slide challenge or the slide lick of the week. I apologize. I'll do it next week. Maybe I'll start with those and then just leave the theme to end the live stream with. Maybe that will kind of give me a better timing and planning. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Cool. Right. So thanks so much for coming today. It's been a blast. Forgive me for sniffing too much. I'm having a cold today, and I couldn't really sing for you, but I'll do it next time. So, yeah. Never mind the timer. Yeah, but I try to be respectful of your time, and you guys dedicated this Monday to this live stream. I'm very grateful that you're here. It's so inspiring just to see people in the chat, and that I'm not talking to myself only. But I guess there are those views afterwards, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm getting some emails or messages on Twitter from people who watch the live stream as a replay, and I'm getting some nice tips there as well. So that makes it easy to plan for the weeks to come and all that. But anyway, next week I'll be here. I'll see you next Monday, and I hope you're going to be having a great week. Thanks for today, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. But all I see here are my subscribers. I believe that. And then I'll see you next time. All right. Bye, guys.
It wasn't spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. And she called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top